Hello, sir.
Good morning, Ian. How we doing?
Well, we're hanging in. We're
Oh
barely hanging
man,
in.
that's not
W-
great. I'm low energy Jeb. You're hanging in. It's we can do it though.
You're low energy?
I'm
What's
low
going on with
energy,
you?
man.
What happened?
I think I'm getting sick,
Oh,
and
no.
I've not been sleeping super great past few nights. So
Same.
no, it's tough. It's tough out there.
I'm looking forward to retirement. I'm just going to sleep till noon every day. I just want my ability to sleep till noon to come
I know.
back.
I
Nobody needs to
know.
bother me. I'm sleeping till noon. Leave me alone. That's it.
I know. I've been waking up at like between 2 and 4 and then having a hard time going back to sleep. It's not great. It's
That's
not
what
great.
Jamie does. Let me tell you, and she's tried a lot of things and nothing's fixed it. So I hope yours
Oh, well,
naturally.
I was optimistic at the beginning of that sentence and then it took a quick turn.
It's not the most fun to be up at 3 o'clock.
No, it's terrible.
Man, well, you got a lot of stressful things going on.
I got a lot of stressful things going on. I think I might be stressed.
So, we're
I
not
think
doctors, but
yeah, but this is a diagnosis and I think I'm stressed.
you're not going out on a limb there, I don't think.
No, I think I've come to that conclusion that my life is stressful right now. So,
Oh
yeah.
man, it's been a stressful week. I don't know. Do we want to do your launch? Do we want to go my stressful weekend? I don't know. We could go either way. You want to keep it light, heavy? What do you want to do?
We're a day late and dollar short, so let's
Yeah.
let's find out what's going on over there in Landsman.
We'll start off with my weekend. All right.
Mhm.
It won't be too long, so that's good. I'll get mine out of the way. I got a lot though. It's like a lot, but I don't want to even talk about any of it. It's the kind of thing that makes you mad. First off, this isn't even the main thing, but we had kind of our first, I would say, it's not like literally our first, but in a certain sense, our first real downtime ever on HelpSpot on Friday.
Oh.
So we're offline. The way HelpSpot Cloud is structured is that there's not much shared. There's a
Mhm.
big database server, but even there, everybody has their own database, as we talked about before. Nevertheless, the server itself could have trouble. It does have hot failover. Got all the AWS magic. Knock on woods, generally very, very good. So there's that. The only other real sort of central point is even like Redis and all the other systems are per instance. So everybody has their
Okay.
own stuff they're running. Okay. But Ubuntu
Mhm.
security updates we have running on automatic. And it's like just narrowed down to like critical security updates. Well, they critical security updated Redis, and that when it came back up, it was not able to start Redis. And so it left
Really?
it in a broken state. Yes. So every HelpSpot Cloud customer instantaneously in a broken state. So and a
Oh,
weird sort of
man.
thing. We had to figure out how to like get it back into a working state, and there was some other, yeah, as AWS experienced the other day, right? It's like there was
Mhm.
some cascading effects then once one thing doesn't work. So, but Matt and the crew did a good job. We got it back up, so not too bad. We got to figure out what to do about that. I don't know. There is, it's all very fuzzy. Like there is a way you can run them early, but it's not very much early. And there's a little hand waviness in the documentation, sort of about how early you're able to execute these. So, like, I think in theory, at least, we can set up a server that runs the updates ahead of time and, have some health checks on it to make sure everything comes up correctly after the updates run and stuff.
Was this a bad update? Was there like an incident report from Redis or
No, I don't
Ubuntu
think
or
so.
anything?
No, no. I think it's like we had something set up with our configuration file for Redis was in a weird
Oh.
spot or something. So Redis had this big security thing like a couple weeks ago. And I don't know if you're aware of that, but they had a
No.
huge security, it's wide open, whatever, terrible security vulnerability situation.
Yeah, that checks out.
And we were waiting for them to do this. We thought they'd be doing it right away, but then they weren't doing it. So we actually were already prepared to I forget which way Matt ended up handling it, but I think it was we were going to pull in Redis directly from Redis as opposed to from Ubuntu's setup. And
Mhm.
because Redis itself had released the fix, but the fix had not
I
come
see.
through Ubuntu, which is managing the package. So we
Yeah.
were going to switch over. But before we switched over, they finally ran this thing because we were running tests to make sure us switching over would be seamless. And so we were actually on it, but we got punished anyway. And so when it came up, it couldn't read the configuration file or something. I don't actually have all the details
Oh.
there, but then that was the problem. So we had to like,
Oh, so
I
how
don't know
long
if
were
we
you
moved.
down?
I think it was like probably 5 hours or something like that. It's
Brutal.
not the end of the world, but not ideal. So that was Friday, but we got through that. Not too many angry customers. So that was good. And Saturday, our we lease a horse for my daughter who show jumps horses. Let me just tell you. Let me preface this by saying we have a nice little successful business, okay?
Mm.
But we are playing in a world this is above our pay grade, right? Like
You're
this
touching
is
the next echelon,
this is the next level. We are not we could drive nice cars. We have a nice house. We go on vacation. It's all good.
but you lease a horse, you
But
know?
this is
They're talking about
yeah.
the landsmans because 'cause they're
Right.
leasers. Yeah, I
They're
get it.
leasers, exactly. And yeah, so okay, so we lease this horse. The horse gets emergency illness called colic, which I suppose is similar to a baby who has colic,
Mhm.
which we might be familiar with, those of us with kids. But in a horse, it's more severe. It's not just that it's got a rumbly belly and it's upset or is crying for sort of iffy reasons. This is the horse is going to die. Okay.
Mhm.
So it is backed up. It can't get out its secretions. This horse is in bad shape. So they send the horse at 3 a.m. to the emergency vet,
Mhm.
horse doctor,
Mhm.
right? So we're already, that's not going to be cheap, right?
You don't want a nighttime vet.
You
That's
think that
already
the
double.
you think the 2 a.m. plumber is expensive? The 2 a.m. vet,
The 2
who is a
AM
specialist in
horse vet.
horses, right,
Yeah.
is not a good situation.
Mm-mm.
So the horse goes there. Oh, of course, the horse needs surgery, right? This isn't just like where they're going to patch it up and give it some medicine. They got to cut him open. The horses don't like to be cut open. It's a big thing. I don't even know
We
how you
share
knock a
that
horse out.
with that species. We don't like to be cut open either, yeah.
I think it's easier to cut a human open, though, to be honest.
Probably the same
So
level of, excitement from each patient, though. You know, we don't love it, but we'll
we don't
allow it.
like
Yeah.
it. Yes. Um, So, this is real time update. Jamie's messaging me something. I just have to say that yes, I'm on the show. So stuff is still going on with the horse. So they cut the horse open. They fixed the horse up. We like the horse. I'm very happy. The horse is doing better. So that's good. But the
However,
horse is not a pet, right? The horse has a
no.
job, and we don't even own this horse.
Right.
Now, the way these contracts work is that no matter what happens to the horse, no matter what, you are responsible for paying for the horse. So, like, to me, it's like,
Absurd.
oh, if you break the horse's something or other while you're riding the horse, I feel like, yes, that totally makes
Right.
sense. I should have to fix that. And of course, you have to do all the maintenance of the thing. It's just like a car, that part of it, great. Change the oil, fine. But this like act of God, the horse got sick. This is like a totally random thing. Everybody acknowledges like nobody knows why it happens. Nobody knows really how to prevent it. It's just a thing that happens. Why do I have to pay for this? Okay, so I have to pay. This contract is ridiculous. We took the advice of the barn we were at, which was a huge mistake. The business dad error 101 is don't
Huge
ever
error.
trust anybody. So
No.
this contract is just like a napkin, like basically. Like this contract is not even like a real contract. Like there's just ChatGPT ripped this thing to high hell. Like it's terrible. It's missing all kinds of stuff. It's horrible. So now it's sort of working out to our favor because in there, the only clear thing it says is it goes against convention, which convention is you need 30 days notice to even get out of this contract. That's
Okay.
what the barn is telling us, right? But this contract doesn't say that. This contract says, let us know immediately. And for any reason, including injury, it says you can return the horse. You just forfeit the rest of your lease payment. So we're like,
Okay.
great. That's what we're doing.
Great. Yep.
Take this horse back, right?
3:01 AM, I'm canceling my contract.
So
Yeah.
we weren't able to pull that off. And that would probably be a little bit, whatever. The etiquette there is probably a little bit even too far for us. But like, we're going to pay for the surgery, whatever, fine. But, this horse is now in recovery like a human.
Yeah.
Like they compared it to a C-section. So this horse isn't jumping any jumps anytime soon, right? Like this horse It could have setbacks. All kinds of stuff can happen to the horse, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm not along on the journey with this horse's
That's
recovery.
right, exactly. So we're like, okay, we're at the surgery, we got it. We don't even know how much the surgery is yet, but that's fine. But the horse has to go back today. Like, we're transferring it back. The owner who loves the horse should take care of the horse. It's their horse, right? Great. So that's kind of where we're at. The barn, though, is like, oh, that's not the etiquette and blah, blah. And I'm like, that's the etiquette. This is business. This is a tens of thousands of dollars thing we're talking
Yeah.
about. We are not going on. This is what the contract says. It doesn't say anything about 30 days or anything else. It doesn't even make sense. Why would you even want us taking care of this horse? Like, we are people who are not motivated necessarily to make optimal decisions for this horse, in theory. Now, we wouldn't obviously intentionally do anything to hurt the horse. And there's even a whole other side aspect to this, which is really the owner decides everything. Like, the owner makes the call on getting the surgery. We just have to pay. So we just have to,
What?
yeah, the current state of it is you still have to do whatever the owner says. So you don't even have any say in what happens. That's how crazy this stuff is. Now, even that should be specified in the contract, and it isn't actually explicit. This contract should be 30 pages long, and instead it's like a page and a half of,
Oh,
of nothing.
dude.
But yeah, huge business dad L here.
Huge. Yeah,
The
you're
good
losing your business dad credibility.
the good news is it's the L has worked in our favor in that, like, I think a more thorough contract would actually be a negative for us right now because
Mhm.
they would have this 30-day clause in it and other things like that. And my understanding is nobody will do a contract that has you're always on the hook for anything that happens to the horse. So
This
again,
is
it's a
a
little iffy to me.
scam.
What if the horse gets cancer? Like, am I
Yeah,
responsible for the horse's cancer treatment? Like, that doesn't make
no
any
way.
sense. Like, it has nothing to do with riding, right? So I don't know. Obviously, if we get another horse in the future, we're gonna have a lot of time with the contract and making sure it's
Who so are there 3
no down.
parties? Is the barn an independent party that's just, like, hanging out? Or who's the barn?
Yeah, the barn is our barn where our daughter rides and gets trained, and
Okay,
where the horse lives. So when you are using the horse lives with you at your barn. The barn, we pay the barn every month, which is separate, to feed the horse, to take care of the horse day in, day out,
okay.
because we're not there feeding it every day and stuff like that. So they are responsible for all that stuff, putting it out to pasture, bringing it back in, whatever. Needing the vet with regular vet stuff like shots it
Jeez,
needs, whatever.
God.
It's great. So yes, the barn is ostensibly, this is all very interesting, I have to say. It's ostensibly our representative,
Right.
but it's very similar, kind of like a real estate agent, where, like, ostensibly they're your representative, but they have other motivations that are not
Of course.
necessarily in your best interest, right? So, like,
Yes.
they want to work with these other people in the future in other ways and transferring other
Right.
horses around and all this stuff. So, like, they're not motivated to be like, hey, this is bullshit. We gotta, like, cut this off. They're like, well, it's customary and blah blah. And I'm like, I don't care what's customary. Like, that's not what it says.
If it's
Like,
customary, you should write it down next
that's
time, my
right.
friend.
Somebody should have wrote it down in the
Yeah.
contract then. So, yeah, so the barn is ostensibly on our side, but not really. They are the people we regularly deal with. The horse is just from some other woman who owns this horse. Normally, the horse lives at this other barn, but it's our horse for 1 year, under this lease. There's a lot of other kid stuff involved in this, of course, a big life lesson for our daughter and the trade-offs, and this is not a pet, which she understands all that stuff, but it's like, is the horse going to be well enough, fast enough that maybe we should just keep it and keep paying for it for a little bit? But then the more we research it, like, this is like a very intensive surgery. You can't, nobody knows. Nobody's going to be able to tell you, oh, yeah, in like 4 weeks, it'll be better. It could be 4 months. It could be a year. It could end up never jumping again because it just can't do it. Like, so there's a lot of variables we are not interested in partaking, but obviously it's upsetting for my daughter. She would literally the day before, like, oh, we're really clicking now. Everything's going
Oh,
great,
that's
like the whole
sad.
thing. So of course, then the horse almost dies. So anyway, that's where we're at. We're going back and forth with the barn, who doesn't want to do what we want them to do, to tell the owner what we want them to tell them, and that's kind of where we're
So, I think you need a friend with a horse. I think that's your next move. You got to get out of
Yeah.
this cave. You just need a
Yeah.
friend with a
Yeah.
horse, a friend with a boat. Never buy these things
I like
yourself.
where your mind's at here. Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
And now it's very clear to me after all these years of business success why you're not retired, because you're doing horse surgeries and paying
Exactly.
barns and paying for these leases.
Dude,
This is crazy. This
dude.
is crazy.
You don't even know. You're
No.
just a truth sayer over here. I should be long retired. All these kids, I can't even give you this advice now. You already got the 4 kids, so it's too late for you. But
Too late. Yeah.
yeah, the 4 kids. Well, I have 3 kids. The 3
Just keep them
kids.
away from horses is the advice
I
I'm
would say-
hearing.
it is now. It's what's unfortunate is it's actually super awesome. It's by far the best activity any of our kids have ever done. Like she loves it. There's a whole community. The other kids there are great. I've talked about this on the show before, but like it's fantastic. So all that part is so good, but it's very expensive. And a whole
Jeez.
world. Like one of the other people at the barn is like an executive at Red Hat. Like this is that's
Yeah,
the
that's
level.
the echelon
A
that
Bank of America vice
yeah.
president or something. Now there are people with less money than us, I would say too, who are super stretching, which I would highly not recommend anybody to. Um, yeah, so I don't know. It's just the whole thing is messy. All this stuff. You just want to go live on an island and relax. No
So
horse, no
since
nothing.
you don't buy a horse, I feel comfortable asking this one. How much does it cost to buy a horse?
So, I mean, that's the other option, right? And there's all these trade-offs and weird things. So there's like ponies and horses. Ponies are smaller. A friend of ours got a pony for like $25,000. Um, the horses are more, which is why we're leasing one. Although with a horse, if you own it, at least you own it, and it's like you are making decisions on your own behalf. It's
So are we talking like $50,000 to buy a horse?
yeah, I think you get one cheaper, but there's definitely more expensive ones too. A lot of this comes down to like how serious are you about jumping and like wanting to win and all that type of stuff, which I feel like we've done a good job with our daughter. Like she wants to win, but is not, we're trying to make this an activity, not
Right.
like you need to go out there and kill and destroy and we're
Mhm.
going to be in events every weekend riding all over. This is like it's more about the activity and the experience and the community and less about that we want you doing this every weekend and riding all over the country to shows, which we don't want because that sounds like very expensive and not fun. Yeah.
$25,000 for a pony.
Yeah. So leasing it was $10,000 for the year.
Okay.
But
That's
there's other
better, but it's
costs.
still quite a bit. Yeah, you
Yeah.
still got to pay the barn.
Right. You pay the barn
And the
to feed
surgery.
it. And now we pay for the surgery. So, if you get through scot-free and you're at a barn that's less expensive, we're not at a less expensive barn, of course. But if you are at a less
Red
expensive
Hat
barn,
guy's not at a less expensive
right.
barn. Yeah.
If you were, um, you know, you can get by not like an insane amount of money, but there's all these variables of like you could accidentally fall into here's a $15,000 bill because your horse needed surgery, right? So
Jeez.
I mean, I don't even know what the
Good
bill is yet. I'm hoping it's in that range. That's my hope.
You're hoping
Yeah,
it's in
I
the
don't want it to be more.
15,000.
I mean, there's insurance potentially, but the owner has insurance, not us. That's the way it works. So we don't even know what this insurance covers. We don't even deal with the insurance. Someday, maybe a check comes back to us, and we have to harass people for it. Like the whole world is not. This is all the proof of like, if you care about the money, you probably shouldn't be doing
You
this,
shouldn't
right? Like,
be. Yeah.
like
for
you
sure.
have to have enough money that you're like, oh, whatever, $15,000. Whatever.
Yeah,
That's
it's
like my
like
wine bill for the month.
Flying private is
Right.
not about saving money. It's the same. It's the same kind of deal. Like you're flying private because you're rich and you want to fly private. That's what it has to be with horses.
You want to not notice any money that goes missing due to this endeavor and not
Correct.
be doesn't keep you up
Okay.
at night. You're not concerned about it. That's the ideal situation.
I need to instill a fear of horses in my children. Is what I'm learning. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I am not at the $15,000 doesn't bother me level of richness. So
No.
it does bother me. So, but we shall persevere. We have lots of lessons learned and all that stuff. So I can share with
Boy.
the people on the show. Get a lawyer, check your contract, at least get ChatGPT look it over. ChatGPT tore this thing apart. So yeah,
Tough going. Tough
going.
weekend.
Tough weekend, man. Tough weekend. I don't know. So let's pay some bills so I can pay for this horse
Yeah,
surgery.
seriously. Let's raise some prices on some people.
Oh, man, let me tell you, I would love to thank Bento for paying for my horse surgery. Thank you, Jesse. I need this more than ever. I truly appreciate it.
We
I
get a
need
couple of
everybody out
years up
there.
front, Bento.
I need everybody out there right now. If you feel for me, if you want to help out, I need you to go sign up for Bento right now. I need you to go to bentonow.com. I need you to sign up for Bento. Send your email through them. They do a great job. Everybody loves. I literally never talked to anybody who says anything other than it's a revolutionary level service. I'm not even. There's not hyperbole. That everybody I've ever talked to absolutely loves it. So go check out bentonow.com for all your email marketing needs. Thank you to Jesse for sponsoring my horse. And also thank you to Flare by Spotsy, all-in-one error tracking and performance monitoring for your Laravel application. Check them out at flareapp.io, and you can check them out at flareapp.io/performance-monitoring for the details specifically on performance monitoring. Thank you all for sponsoring the show. I deeply appreciate it. Okay, well, there you go. That's my update.
That's a heck of an update. I didn't see the horse thing coming, to be honest with you.
Little left field. Little
You
not
texted me Monday. So it's now Tuesday. You texted me either Monday or Sunday, and you're like, "Hey, can we push a day? There's a family emergency." And I'm like, "Oh no, what's going on?" You said, "Well, it's a horse emergency." I was like, "Okay, yeah, that doesn't really, yeah, that's very different."
Okay, yeah, I don't have to send anything. It's okay.
Yeah,
I don't need to send them.
Don't have to buy a dinner or anything.
Baked ziti or anything. Yeah, it's gonna be okay. But
I do love a baked ziti. All right, where are we going next?
I don't know. You had a big week. You had a huge
week. The big reveal.
I'm very excited about this.
So, I have been Sleepy Joe. I told you. I'm
know,
low energy Jeb. I'm Sleepy Joe. It's not great.
Gosh, man.
You
Should
know,
we take a break here? You want to do a little siesta?
I need a big siesta. It's unfortunate how good the nicknames are. Sleepy Joe, low energy Jeb. They just stick in your brain.
They're right there.
So I had a big week last week. Did the big reveal.
Yes.
I have in secret, much to my own benefit, or my own credit, I have been building out a new set in the living room. So where I'm recording right now is the bedroom of the apartment. Out there is the living room. And I have built out a brand new set that features prominently a giant chalkboard.
Man, I love when you come up with these things.
Chalkboard.
Nobody who saw this coming. You've never seen anybody do this before, right? Nobody's done it. I love it. It's fantastic. It's 10 times better than I was expecting. I was expecting just another nice set like the one you have now, but I just expected it to be different. Like I just wanted to have a different place. Yeah, and I'm sure I expected it to be nice, but I wasn't expecting to be blown away. And I was blown away. I was like, this is a fantastic idea. Like, what a great idea. What an eye-catching people. Everybody's got that in their head of like school and learning. And there's like a heavy nostalgia connection to it. So fantastic. I saw you had a post that they sent you a black one by mistake.
They did.
You insisted on the green.
I did.
I think that is an excellent call. I think the black one would have been way inferior to the green one. The green one, it was totally required. So that was great.
And
call
it's just such like a deep, rich green. It's just the perfect green. Yeah, that little snafu cost me like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks getting the other one because they build them. They build these boards and then they ship them from New York. I think it's actually New Jersey. I feel like that's a common thing up there to be based in New Jersey and call it New York Black
New York Giants. They're all in New Jersey, actually.
They're all New Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
The sports teams are in New Jersey.
I didn't know that. So yeah, I built out a set and I called up New York Blackboard.com or blackboards.com, one or the other.
I heard we don't make anything anymore, but we make blackboards, baby.
You make blackboards and have for like 75 years.
That's
it's
so
one
cool.
of those. It's great. Yeah. And so I talked to Joey, truly.
It's definitely New Jersey. I
talked to Joey Tringali up in
New Jersey.
Up in New Jersey. Talked to him on the phone. He sent me a couple of samples. And so he sent me, like a 4x4 square of a black one and a 4x4 square of a green one. And it arrived and I was like, obviously, this green is beautiful. I have to get the green. And he sent me some samples of the wooden border that goes around the board, because you can you can get it unframed, you can get it framed with 3 or 4 different types of wood, you can get no chalk tray, and so they do it all.
Right.
It's like completely custom. They
Soup
do
to
all
nuts.
the classrooms on the Eastern Seaboard. Very, very,
Wow.
very cool. So I had this idea because for a couple of reasons. Some are practical, some are emotional. The practical one is Steve is gone, right?
Yeah.
Steve is off doing, auth as a service.
Yeah.
I cannot do motion graphics in terms of like video work.
Right.
Motion graphics, one, are very, very time consuming and very hard to learn.
Yep.
And therefore, two, are very expensive to hire
Right.
out.
Yeah.
So I was staring down the barrel of like, okay, I just lost my visualizations ability, right? I
Right.
can't do 3D. I can't even do 2D really that well. And so I need some way, some affordance whereby I can help people visualize things. It is very common, I think, to do whiteboards. And a lot of people have done whiteboards. And I actually, in a previous office, back when I was a working man, I had a whiteboard. And I loved a whiteboard. A whiteboard is great. That's how I did when I was in college. I did all of my accounting tutoring at a whiteboard. I loved it. But I thought that's been done. Like, that's been done several times. It's very like, there's no second layer to that. It's just like, I have a whiteboard now.
It's just expected. You're not going to note that. It's like, oh yeah, he's got a whiteboard. That makes sense. I've seen Khan Academy and everybody else got the whiteboard. Great.
And so then I looked at the light boards with an L, light boards, and those are very, very cool. So it's like a pane of glass, edge illuminated, and you write on it with these neon markers, and then you flip it in post, and it comes out as if you're writing kind of in thin air. Looks very cool. The problem with that is for the effect to work with the physicality of light, for the effect to work, everything else has to be basically pitch black.
Oh, right. I've seen these.
So the background has to be black. You have to wear black. The lights have to be low so that the only thing illuminated is the light board and the neon markers. And so I watched several of those videos and I was just like, this is cool, but it's like nerdy. It's like it's not the vibe I want. It's very like oppressive. It's very dark. It's just like, this is clearly a nerd, in some basement studio doing this. And so I thought that's no good either. I don't like that.
That's not your brand. Yeah.
No, not at all. And so then I thought Chalkboard. Chalkboard is cool. Like Chalkboard it has that second layer of nostalgia, analog, tactile reality, like anti-AI. So it has this whole other emotional layer to it in addition to being practical. And so I started looking around for I looked at Chalkboard paint and I was like, this is janky. It doesn't erase well. It doesn't turn. It's always black. Usually it's like, I don't like this. And looked on, Craigslist all over the city to be like, where can I find a chalkboard from an old school? And that's not really a thing. And then I came across Blackboards of New York, or New York Blackboard, and called them up, and $500 to make a chalkboard, $400 to ship it.
I think that's great. I was expecting it to be way more than that.
It's not bad. I know. So it's
$500. That's crazy. I thought, especially because it's framed in wood. It's not just like, well, we took the sheet off the assembly line and shipped it out. It's like they constructed,
real deal.
Some work there.
Yeah. So it's 3 feet tall, 7 feet wide. And it's framed in, I think, oak or something. And it's beautiful. It
had a very school vibe. The oak was perfect. I was like, this is great.
So it shows up, and of course it's black. And I'm like, well, no. Unfortunately, I looked at the purchase order and it said green. And I was like, thank God. So I called him up and I was like, hey, y'all dorked this one up. And he said, we sure did. I'll get you a free one sent right away. So I'll take this. I have the black one. I'm looking at it. I'll take that one home for the kids, and they're gonna freaking love it.
That'll be fun.
It's gonna be so fun.
It's so funny. It costs so much to ship. That's like they're not. Yeah, it's one of these things you don't ship back. It's like costs as much as the item itself. So
it's FedEx freight, and I gotta. They're like, do you have a loading dock? And I'm like, friend, I do not. This is an apartment. So it showed up, and then I was like, all right. Am I going to build another false wall? Like, how am I going to mount this thing in an apartment? Because, it comes with all these clips where you can like screw it into the wall and then you're set. But I'm like, I can't. Like, I could get away with hanging a picture. I can't get away with screwing a bunch of clips in to hang a chalkboard, right?
Right.
And so I
How
thought
heavy is it?
it's not that bad, but it's
Okay.
like 70 pounds.
Oh, that's less than I thought. Okay.
60. Yeah, it's
All right.
actually extremely light. I was able to
Yeah.
like manipulate it myself up onto the shelves. I
Okay.
didn't I didn't need a second person. So that was quite
Mm.
nice. So I thought I'm gonna have to build a false 2x4 wall and put some panels on it and paint the whole thing. And I thought, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And so I found these IKEA shelves that are perfect for it.
Mm.
And unfortunately I did have to stain them all because they were like very bright, just kind of like raw pine. And I put it
Mm.
next to the board and it was very clearly like, this looks like construction material. This looks like a beautiful analog chalkboard.
Yeah.
And so I had to go and stain the freaking thing, and that took forever. But then I finally got it all set up and put together and mounted, and it's all freestanding on the shelf, or the board is mounted to the shelves, but the shelves are freestanding. And
Okay.
it just worked. And I stepped back and I was like, this looks great. Like I fulfilled what was in my head, which is always my great fear.
I have to say, I didn't even notice that it was on. I thought it was hanging on the wall. Like I didn't really even note
Hmm.
that, I guess. But I was so distracted by it. You also have like vines
Yep.
around it and stuff. So there's like a whole vibe going on that
Yep.
it's perfect because you don't even notice, like, apparently that it's on a shelf. Is it gonna wobble like when you write on it? Is it like, did you weight the
It's not.
shelves or?
So what I did was, so obviously the shelves rest on the ground. The board
Mhm.
rests on the shelves vertically, and behind the board are braces such that, uh, let's just hold the shelves constant so that the board on the shelves doesn't move around at all.
Right.
And
Okay.
then the shelves themselves, I got furniture leveling feet. And
Mhm.
instead of mounting the feet down to actually, level furniture like you're supposed to, I mounted those furniture leveling feet towards the wall and then
Okay.
screwed them such that there is pressure basically tipping the shelves out by like a degree or two, so
Uh-huh.
that the shelves want to push back against the wall. So when
Yep.
I write, that force is already it's as tight
Ah,
as it can be.
right.
And
There's
so
no space there.
there's
Yeah.
no space there. And so, yeah, when I write, it transfers the force through the board, through the braces, through the shelves, to the furniture leveling feet, to the wall. So I'm like, I'm in the clear. It doesn't wiggle, it doesn't wobble at all.
Oh, man, I don't know. You come up with these things. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you
I
do
don't
it.
know. I don't
You're a
know.
genius.
Who can
It's
say?
amazing.
Who
Now,
can
okay,
say?
I have questions though, because
Yes.
I think in the video you actually weren't totally clear about how you're going to actually use it, which I think is fine for that video. But I'm
Yep.
curious about how you're going. Like, are you planning on literally writing? Are you going to have it pre-drawn? What you're doing,
Yeah.
or are you using it just as a background to project a screen? You're going to inset a screen, your screen there, and it's just like a backdrop. Like, what's the plan, or is it all the above?
Yes, and
Okay.
so one thing I'm pretty confident about is that watching me draw for a long time will be boring.
Right.
Um, and so that's like a guiding principle that I can't
Mm,
just draw for 2 minutes or
right.
even probably 30 seconds.
For the right topic, maybe not, but I think it's only gonna work for certain things where it's like you can be
Correct.
crazy and they can be like, "Look at this, and this goes here," and like you can make that
Totally. Yep.
entertaining. But if it's just like you're just writing the specs of the database or you're
Nope.
drawing data or something
Exactly.
in tables, like that's gonna be boring.
So there are going to be some videos where I don't draw on the board at all, and it's
Right.
just a set and I'm doing screencasting. There are going to be some videos where I need to illustrate things, and part of it will be pre-drawn, and part of it will be drawn live, and there will be some where the whole thing will be drawn over the course of the whole video, drawn live.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And I have 3 different camera angles
I
so
saw
that
that.
I can do some editing such that I'm like drawing and then it cuts to the other camera and the drawing part is done or something
Right.
like that, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And so it's going to be a little bit of a trial and error and a trick to figure out, how to keep it tight and entertaining, but still use it for what it's supposed to be used for, which is teaching visual concepts, of which
Yep.
there are many. It
Yeah.
turns out it's really helpful to visualize a lot of this like only cerebral stuff that we often
Right.
talk about. So yeah, that will be interesting to figure out. And I have found a reliable editor, and so it'll be
Nice.
a play between the two of us figuring out how this is going to work. But yeah, the 3 cameras will help because that'll help me make clean cuts to the to the end user. It'll appear very clean, and I can have 10 minutes in between the cuts. But
Yep.
that will help, and then having a proper professional editor will help as well. And so yeah, it'll be fun to figure that part out, I think.
Yeah, I think having a good editor and like a real professional editor is going to be key, especially now you have all this. You have 3 different
Oh man,
feeds and like the screen feed if you have that going, and
and the
like the
audio, separate audio feed.
audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, which audio didn't sound quite as good as your audio in here. So I think I don't know, there was
Yes.
something a little different. I don't know if the room acoustics or
That
something.
was that was my DJI microphone. So that was my intro
Mm,
microphone, which is this
yep.
guy.
Mm,
I have since purchased a much better lavalier microphone,
mhm,
much more expensive, unfortunately, but it is
of
much
course.
better.
Yeah.
And part of the editor's job is going to be to make sure that that sounds crisp. And
Right.
so I did the best I could, and that's part of like the trough of sorrow is like, man, there is so much to learn here.
Yeah.
The video and audio world just is so deep, and uh I feel like I'm the horse leaser here. I'm like barely putting my toe in the water. And so locking down this editor really made me feel a lot better. And this is the editor that has edited Mastering Postgres and High Performance SQLite. He did both of those courses for us. And so I just called him up and I was like, "Hey man, here's the deal. Like I need your help on this." And so he gave me it's expensive, frankly. Like
Yeah.
he's not cheap, and it's a per finished minute rate, which is kind of
Mm.
nice
Yeah, that's
because
interesting.
like then I can, it's easy for me to budget if I know that like this course is going to be 2 or 3 hours. I can kind of ballpark how much that's going to cost me, which
Right.
is super nice.
Yeah.
Um, but he was like, we got on a Zoom or a Google Meet, and he talked him through everything, and he's like, no, I totally got this. This is what I do. It's going to be great. And
Ooh, that's
so
good.
he advised me on a different microphone. And I sent him some test footage for all the camera settings and everything. And so he's going to be a huge
Oh,
help
that's
in
good.
all of this. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be, I feel like, I don't know why I do this, but I feel like I'm constantly like pushing the boundaries of what I'm capable of. And
That's how you like it.
I think in some regards that's good because that has gotten me to where I am. And in some regards, I'm like, sure, it'd be nice just to take the foot off the gas for a second.
I
Just
think
like do one
yeah.
thing that you know how to do instead of,
Yeah.
building a brand new set and getting all this new equipment and entering this world of like pain.
Yeah.
But alas, here we are.
I do feel like you have this tension where you want it to be interesting, and this is how you make it interesting for yourself. But then
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, you just need to be in business school, there's like the arc there. You need like to be in cash cow
I need
mode,
to be in cash cow mode.
where you're
Yes.
not
I need
like
to stop
reinventing
innovating.
thing. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
need to innovate. You just need to like make the money here. This is the point where we make the money. So yeah, I do think this makes sense as a point. I think get the new thing, you do new stuff with it, whatever. But then like from here, maybe just try to like put that energy into the product and
Yep.
making more and better product and not the other stuff. But yeah, I think you needed to do something because you knew you weren't going to be able to do that editing the same way,
Yeah.
right? You kind of had this sexy editing going on previously, so you knew that's probably not realistic with the cost constraints. I think this makes sense. I like the idea of like the 3 cameras. I think that'll make it feel different than most kind
Yeah.
of people in your general competition to you. I feel like are mostly talk at the 1 camera kind of
Mhm.
vibe. Maybe they have a top down camera for occasional things or whatever, but so kind of like that. How do you set that? Like, are the cameras tied to a computer and feeding
They
right into
are.
disk, or are they on
They
SD
are.
cards? Or okay, yeah,
Mhm. So, they're all Canon cameras. They're all slightly different, just because that's what I had.
yeah,
But attached to each camera, I have like a standard setup. And a lot of the thought of putting this together was like, all right, I need a system. Like this has to be, I can't be schlepping cards around and
right,
like
Yeah.
accidentally moving cameras, trying to get cards out, running out of space on cards. Like
Yeah.
I have if I'm going to do this as, a one-man show, it's got to be systematized. So
Yeah.
every camera is on a tripod, and attached to the tripod is a small rig battery, which is very cool. It
Yep.
lasts forever.
Mm.
And then attached to the other leg is a Blackmagic HDMI to SDI converter. So it converts it into a coax cable. And
Oh,
so
interesting.
the small rig battery powers this converter box, and it powers the camera. So I don't have to like have AC adapters for all the cameras, which is nice.
Hold on,
It
it's not a
eliminates
dummy battery?
no, it's a
Okay, it's a rechargeable battery.
so inside the Canon cameras are real batteries.
Yep.
And then on the leg of the tripod is a small rig, which is a brand name, small
Yep.
rig power bank battery, basically.
And you're
And it's
plugging into
huge.
that.
It's like, I
I
don't know
see.
how many milliamp hours, but it's huge.
Right, right,
And so
okay.
out of that small rig battery, I run USB-C into the camera to
Yep.
power it, and then I run USB-A over to the Blackmagic converter box to power
Yep.
it. And then
Okay.
out of the camera, I run HDMI into the Blackmagic box to convert HDMI to this coax,
Yep.
because it it can run longer links than an HDMI cable. HDMI maxes
Mm,
out, 20 feet, 30 feet.
really? Okay.
It can go further, but you at some point need boosters or converters to,
Mm,
Cat 6E or something.
you
So
don't wanna get into all that,
I
yeah.
don't want to get into all that. So all three tripods have this exact same setup. And then I have these three coax cables run out of the living room, through the bathroom, back into the closet, up into the Mac Studio. Because all the
Okay.
stuff, all the noisy stuff is in the back. The
Yeah,
NAS, the Mac Studio, all of
yeah.
that is in the back. And attached to the Mac Studio is a Thunderbolt enclosure. So I got like an expansion,
Mm,
an enclosure,
dock
and in
thing, yeah.
yeah, kind of. And in that enclosure is a Blackmagic Decklink quad that has 4 SDI inputs. And so I can take 4 cameras in. I only take 3.
Mm,
But I can take 4 cameras in, and then those are visible then to OBS as devices. And so on
yeah.
the Mac Studio in the back, I run OBS, and I can like have a confidence monitor that shows all 3 cameras, so I can see that like
Mm.
everything's working,
Ah,
which is very nice. And then
yeah.
I can hit start recording, and it records my lav mic and the 3 cameras as separate files. And so at the
Yeah.
end I have 4 files that are all 2160, like highest quality possible. And back there I just have tons and tons of discs, and so
Right.
I just write it all to disk. And I don't know where the power comes from. Like I don't know if it's the Mac Studio M1 Ultra, or it's this enclosure, but I have seen the CPU gets to like 6 or 7% while
Yeah,
it's capturing,
so
which is crazy. And so
yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm not putting any tax whatsoever
Yeah,
on it. And so I have to imagine the Blackmagic card is like pretty powerful, and it's
probably
doing
does some
something.
magic in there,
The
yeah.
Thunderbolt has like, whatever, 40 gigabits a second or something. So I
Right.
imagine everybody's working together to do their part, such
Yeah,
that the CPU is like, this is like walk in the park. So I feel
yeah,
pretty good about it.
it's probably just writing to disk, it's probably not doing much of the transcoding type
That
stuff,
might
it's
be
just
correct.
like
Yeah.
yeah, it's just writing to disk, so wow, okay.
Yep.
I like
And
that
then
setup, that's a
the
very
final
pro setup.
piece is I have a coax cable. So I have a reverse Blackmagic, where in the Mac Studio in the closet, I run HDMI out of the Mac Studio into a Blackmagic box that converts it to coax, and I run the
Okay,
coax all the way out to the living room. And on a monitor in the living room, I turn it back into HDMI, and so I can see the Mac Studio screen in the living
okay,
room, which is where I
okay,
put OBS, right? So I put OBS
okay,
on that screen,
yeah,
and then I can just like make sure I look good, all the cameras are on, everything's like ready to record, and then I can hit record, and that's my confidence monitor, which is what is actually running on the Mac Studio in the back.
yeah. Wow. This is like a real you better I hope they don't kick you out of this apartment, you know? I feel like
Boy,
we're deep on
we're
this
in too
apartment
deep.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a studio now. This is a full
This is
on every space
yeah, this is a
is
studio.
dedicated
This
to the
is
studio. Yeah.
trouble. Yeah.
So now have you recorded anything yet in this new setup? Like
I
for
have
the
done
courses?
I've done some like practice recordings of like,
Okay.
all
Yeah.
right, let's do some dress rehearsals. And it's good. I've spent maybe a couple hours changing my handwriting to small caps.
So I had this question of how
Yep.
is your handwriting and drawing? Because this is kind of like I
hmm
couldn't do this because my handwriting is unreadable.
My
So
handwriting is pretty good.
okay.
I spent years at the board tutoring accounting, and so my handwriting is pretty
Mm,
good. I did notice when I was doing handwriting that small caps are more readable than
mm,
trying to do upper and lower. And so
okay.
I've been writing my lines at the board, converting my handwriting to, basically like architect handwriting. So I have,
Interesting.
the capital letters are big, but they're still capital. Lowercase letters are small caps. So there's no two versions of the
Okay.
letter E. There's only a tall capital E and a small capital E. And so
Okay.
everything looks like architect handwriting now. And so it's eminently readable. It takes a little bit of mental load to be like, don't go back to, regular. And actually, like I have a yellow notepad here. In my like, whenever I do take notes, I am also converting my handwriting in regular daily use to small caps.
Just
I'm
doing it.
changing my handwriting. Yeah. I'm 36 and I'm like, well, all right, we'll try something new. So yeah, I'm getting my brain only to write in small caps because it's much more legible. It's much more consistently legible, I will say.
Mm. But so you're still doing a big capital letter at the start of a sentence, let's
Correct.
say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
all the same height
No.
through. It's just everything is caps.
Yes.
Uh, right.
There's only
Everything's
one
uppercase. Everything is
shape.
uppercase.
Yes. There's only one
Yes.
shape. The only thing that varies is the height.
The size or whatever
Yep.
based on yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right. I like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
I think that makes sense.
That is what, like, if you ever look at like architectural drawings or
Right.
even like landscape architects, that is
Mhm.
traditionally how they write.
Yeah, I like that. I think that makes sense for being able to read it on screen too and just have it be easy and
And
for
then you
people and stuff.
also, I think the reason they do it is there are no descenders. So like then you write a Y and it,
Mm,
when in a lowercase y it drops down, a G drops down, a
right.
J drops down. When you do small caps, there's no descender. It's all
Yeah,
like on the baseline. And I have to imagine that's why they do it.
that's probably why they do it, yeah. Which will be good for you too, because 'cause you're trying to fit
Mhm.
presumably it points data into grids and things of
Mhm.
that sort, so it'll kinda look nice and all line up. Do you have any gadgets or gizmos for drawing things? Or are you just gonna hand draw things or
So I do have a projector. And so
yeah.
if there is like a big diagram that I need to do, I will do it first in TL Draw and I'll project
Yeah.
it onto the board and trace out some of it.
Mhm.
But beyond that, I don't have any like protractors or rulers or anything that could fit the need. I have I have purchased Japanese chalk, of course. I
Obviously, yeah.
believe it is now South Korean chalk.
Okay.
It's one or the other. So
Mm,
there's originally a company that was either in Japan or South Korea where they make this very specific type of chalk that all the mathematicians covet, and this company was going out of business and they were
mm,
like, sorry, we're done.
right.
And then whichever the alternative is, there was a Japanese man or a South Korean man that was like, hey, sell me these machines and let me carry on the legacy. I promise I'll protect it. And the guy was like,
Yeah,
sure, it sounds good.
yeah.
And so I've purchased some of that chalk, and it's very tight, and so it like doesn't get all super dusty, and it writes very cleanly, and it
Ah,
sounds good. Like it's not squeaky. And so I purchased some of that, and I do have. It's predominantly white, but I bought a multicolored pack too in case I need any sort of hey, look at this. So that is, and I bought some microfiber cloths because all the actual erasers just like smear it
move
around.
it
The
around.
microfiber cloth actually like cleans the board. And
Oh,
I read
jeez.
some articles about conditioning a chalkboard, and so I spent some time making the entire chalkboard white the whole chalkboard
Oh, wow.
to fill
Okay.
in all the pores, and then
Oh, that
wiping
makes
it off with the
sense.
microfiber cloth, and now it cleans more like more cleanly
Yeah.
because it's like there aren't any pits in there that haven't been filled historically. So yeah, it's a new hobby, being chalk guy.
I like that. I was wondering about the sound. I'm like, "Oh, man, if it, like, you might lose takes to, like, weird sound
I
potentially
know.
or whatever," so high quality chalk seems like a good investment. I think colored chalk, I don't know, I feel like you're gonna wanna utilize that colored chalk,
I think so. Yeah.
for some things that you want this to pop a little bit. I think that'll
And they
be
have
cool.
it's some good colors, like, it's, like, neon yellow, neon green, purple, orange, and it's, like, these are meant to be, like, attention-getting chalk colors, which is nice.
Are you gonna have a thing kinda like at school where they have a message at the top of the board or like, I don't know, I feel like there's
Maybe.
some stuff you can play
Yeah.
on that with, like, maybe there's just different messages every once in a while or something,
Yeah.
like, you can have some fun with it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, there will be
So
bits that will be developed over time for sure.
yeah, yeah. Alright, before I have another question, before we do that, let's pay the final bill.
Let's pay that final bill. The final bill for the chalk and the horse is being paid today by our dearest friends at Laravel Forge. It's server management with root access, but none of the cognitive overhead. One-click provisioning, zero downtime deployments, automated SSL, and a bunch more. In the time that I read this ad, you literally could have deployed a Laravel VPS. Yes, it's that fast. And Hank wrote that, and Aaron co-signs that. It truly is that fast. I've done it before. You can find out more at forge.laravel.com. Check out their new Laravel VPS offering. Thanks to the Laravel team for sponsoring the show.
So, I is the new PG course
Hmm.
going to be in this studio, or you already
It is.
recorded in the other studio? Okay, so it's gonna be in this studio.
It's going to be in this studio. Yep.
Okay.
And
Alright.
all future the majority of future database school videos will be out there.
Yeah.
Um, I had toyed with the idea of doing a wardrobe change, and like out
Mm,
when it's database school, I bought a button down, and I'm like, this is gonna be my like
right.
professorial outfit.
Yeah.
And I tried that. I recorded a few in it, and then one, it wasn't quite as comfortable.
Mm,
And then two, I thought at that point, I then lose a little bit of the ability to hop back and forth between studios and keep it relatively cohesive. If I'm like, oh no, out there I'm a professor, and in here I'm just a developer. And so
right.
I'm sticking with just the black shirt for both comfort and consistency. But
Yeah.
most of it'll be recorded out there. But I will be able to come in here, even in the same video, and be like, hey, let's go into the studio for a second. Boom, I'm in the studio.
Yeah.
And that'll be kind of fun to be able to pull off.
Yeah, I think, like, from an entertainment perspective, the like, you popping around and being different
Hmm.
places, like, keeps it lively, keeps it
Yep.
interesting, like, I like that. I think that's
Yep.
gonna work out really
Yep.
well.
I think so.
So this is a different format too, because 'cause you're gonna be, I assume it's gonna be like the video you put out where, like, it's gonna
Mhm.
be like, your whole upper
Yep.
body in the
Yep.
video for the most part. Yeah.
Yep. So
That's
it
quite a
is
difference.
I get to move around a little bit
Yeah.
more. It'll be, hopefully a slightly elevated, at least a different energy.
Yep.
And yeah, it'll be a little more, I'm hoping a little more like live.
Yeah.
It'll still be of course tightly edited, but I'm hoping the energy will be more live.
This is gonna be fascinating. This is gonna be very
Mhm.
different from other courses, so I
I
definitely think it's gonna
know.
stand out.
I
Yeah,
hope so. Yeah,
yeah,
that's the idea. And that was, on in the launch video, part of what I leaned on was like, listen, the video is going to go one of two directions. Like it's going to get more and more, impersonal and AI generated, or this is the way I'm going to go and it's going to get more real and more personal, and hopefully, people buy into it. And from
yeah,
the response, a lot of people bought into it and they're like, this is
yeah,
great. I love this idea. And so I think it is congruent with my deeply held beliefs, my hopes, my dreams, my brand, my personality. And so I think the whole thing like plays together nicely, that this is kind of like a stake in the ground of like, I want to see something different in the world. And so
yeah.
we'll see if it pays off.
Also, think for your target audience, which is gonna be to some degree, I feel like the, like, people who don't want to just read the docs, right? Like the
Yeah.
dry, I'm just going to go to SQL or Microsoft or MySQL's docs and like
Yeah.
pour through there, whatever Postgres's docs, and like be super bored and like just obviously it's terrible in there for the most part. Or if it's when you get to different database platforms, I'm going to go to, Redis's official video series. That's
Mhm.
some generic person up there
Yep.
being corporate and generic, right? Like, so this is a very clear distinction that this is a
Yep.
different type of thing, that this is not just this guy in a suit giving you
Yep.
the facts about, indexes and whatever in a totally
Yeah.
dry, boring manner. So,
And I like that has always been true, but this is now clear on the face of it that it
right.
is true. And
Yeah.
that's helpful, right?
Yeah.
Because if you land on the site and you're like, whoa, what the hell? This guy's like
Right.
at a chalkboard teaching?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
It's not
Like,
just
you
another
don't have
talking
to watch
head.
the videos to see this
Yeah.
is something different. You
Yes, I like
know
that a
it's
lot.
something different. Let me dive in and see if it's something that I like. Sure, that's
Right.
fine. But
Yeah.
facially, it is different. And
Yeah.
so I do like that a lot. And I was on I finally was able to join Justin and Brian on the panel podcast
Mm,
and I was telling them, and it surprised Brian, that I don't feel like I have any competition here
right.
in the database world. And you and I have talked about this a little bit, but if I were to teach React or MCP servers or TypeScript or even Laravel at this point, like there's a lot of competition.
Right,
And
yeah.
so in this database world where it's not teaching to DBAs, there's just no competition. And
Yeah.
so I'm hoping that I can become, like I've mentioned many times before, become that like trusted voice in database education for non-DBAs, for developers. And I
Yeah.
think this sets me up to do that.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, like, to me, is you're gonna have to sort of make that case of, like, why all you developers out there don't know enough about
Yeah.
databases, and it's holding you back. Like, as opposed to the more proactive people. I mean, hopefully, you'll get those people too, right? But those
Yeah.
people are, like, they're looking proactively for stuff. Great, you have stuff. They're going to choose between you and maybe some other stuff that's already out there that's more generic, right? Fine. But getting the like more pure developer who's more your kind of core audience and being like, hey, you really need to know more about this
Yeah.
because XYZ, and I'm going to give it to you in a form that is, entertaining and accessible to you and not go too far over your head with DBA level
Hmm.
details of the whole thing, which is what a lot of the other stuff is more like if you go to Microsoft's database courses, it's going to be real low level
Hmm.
type stuff, right? So, yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, you got to getting that crossover stuff is going to be interesting. Like doing like your YouTube videos
Yep.
around how you pull people into the world
Yep.
that you're building here, right? I think is going to be fascinating. And seeing like what works for that and what doesn't, and
Yep.
how you can get the people in. So,
Yep. I think I think you're right. It's cash cow mode time. Like I did the I
right.
did the innovation, and now it's just time to like execute. It's time to just eat glass and just do the thing.
Yeah. Well, and there's always reasons you can come up with why that's a good idea to do some other thing, right? Or like if you did the other thing that will help when you get to the cash cow mode or whatever,
Yeah.
like, but at some point you just have to be like, I'm going to make 100 videos now.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to do.
That's
And we're
just
going to
what we're
start
gonna
churning
do.
them out. Because that's the only way you're gonna know if this works. Like, and you
I
don't
know.
wanna get to the point where you run out of runway before you even really know if it works because you
No.
only did 2 series or
I
whatever, and
know.
now you don't even really know if it would have worked, or, you just need to find the right now, who even knows, right? Like, one platform's gonna might just be one takes off and becomes the one that, like, you become known for, and you
Yep.
gotta be in the game long enough to find that one that becomes the impetus for people to buy all the others and all that stuff, so yeah, a lot of time it is just
It's a lot of
a
juggling
time game. Yeah, it's a lot of
while
juggling
being
too.
on fire. That's the thing. Turns
Well,
out
the
you're
thing
juggling and then someone lights you on fire and says, "Keep juggling." It's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, this is what it's like, huh?"
I didn't watch your whole thing on the panel because I think that might have been on Friday, right? When things
Yeah, I
were a
think
little bit
so.
hairy for me, but, I think at some point on there or somewhere you were talking about, the kind of like having the tiers of like you have companies that are willing to
Yeah.
prepay and
Uh-huh.
sponsor some of these
Yeah.
courses, right? And so that's a huge advantage, which
It
almost nobody else
is.
who does this has earned and
Yes.
has, right? And so yeah, I think just being able to leverage that, that's your runway, keeping that going while you can also then build the premium course on top of the free one they're sponsoring or,
Yep.
whatever. I'm sure there could be different ways to work it, but, I think that makes sense. Like, getting them to sponsor the baseline content that then becomes the foundation so that you can say, "Hey, we have hundreds of videos." Like,
Yep.
that's huge once you can get there, so
Yep. So I've got one more deal that is closed. And then 2 that are in the works, and in addition to, the one I'm working right now, Supabase.
right.
Um, and so the one that is closed is an open source technology. It's
Mhm,
kinda like this. It's similar to the Supabase one. It's like an
mhm,
open source technology. We're the, like, premier host of it, and so do you wanna,
right.
teach that? It's like, "Sure,
Mhm,
sounds great."
yeah,
Um the other ones are interesting because it's proprietary, but they, like, want me to do a course on their technology, like, their
mm,
offering in the
yeah,
database space.
yeah,
And I'm like, "Sure, that sounds great."
yeah,
Because I don't have any market risk on it if they're gonna pay. Like, if they're gonna
right,
pay me to do it, and then I can put it on Database School, and they can send people over and be like, "Hey, there's a fully free course, it's 2 or 3 hours on, using our technology, and you'll get to learn fundamentals and how to use it. Go over there and check it out." That seems awesome to me.
yeah,
And so, the stuff that I'm hoping will build the subscriber base is that open source technology stuff. So, like, the Redis and the DuckDB and that sort of
yeah.
stuff.
Well, I think I think you should be I would be a little cautious there. I guess here's my thought on it, is like, first of all, the distinction from a, like, people who are willing to pay money for things angle in the current environment between an open source thing and a proprietary thing is pretty blurry at this point. Like, back in the day, it was like, I'm using an open source thing because it's free.
Right.
And if I or otherwise I'm paying Microsoft $10,000 per chip and fee for my big database server, right? Like, but now it's like, well, yeah, I'm using Postgres, but on Supabase, and I'm paying
Right.
them money to do it.
Mhm.
Or I'm using MySQL on RDS, and I'm paying them money to do it. So,
Mhm.
so you're still always now, I feel like, as a business making this decision of like, I'm still now at this point, like, what's the best database platform? I'm paying money for any of them. I'm not running any of them myself for
Mhm.
free. So they're
Mhm.
all commercial in that sense. And so yeah, I think, like, I don't know, I think it could be interesting to potentially structure some of those if it's possible, to be more like where those courses become part of database school paid. And
Mm.
it's just like if they come through the proprietary platform, like if they can send a link out to their newsletter and have a link on their website, even that just going through that link gets you the course for free. Great. Like, it can be
Mhm.
super
Mhm.
permissive, right? But if you don't come through that door, then it's not necessarily free. Like, if you just show up at databaseschool.com, you have to sign up to watch it.
Mhm.
And so it's
Yeah.
only free when you come through them, because that is, like, builds your offering, because I think people will buy, uh, for a proprietary database platform. If anything, I
I
feel like
think they
it's
will.
more
Mhm.
necessary to buy for the proprietary because
I
there's
think they
less
would. Yep.
information than there's 8 million resources on Postgres and MySQL. And so there you have to be the best of them. But in, ClickHouse or whatever, it's like,
Right.
yeah, there's some stuff, but there's not nearly as much as MySQL, right? So, yeah, so I think there is something
Yeah.
there too, or maybe it's a pro and free or whatever. Yeah, there's different ways to slice it, but I wouldn't
Yeah,
say
that's
they're only lead
interesting.
gen. I think people will buy for that too, potentially.
That's interesting. I would have to figure out and become comfortable with the deal structure on that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you pay me $150,000 and then I'm going to put it behind a paywall. It's like,
Right.
well, that's a
Well,
bold move, my friend, but
Well,
maybe.
maybe. But also it also depends. I mean, maybe it's more like the free and the pro, right? It's like, well, where I'm doing the free version of it, that is what you're paying for. And then you're gonna have the
True.
advanced
Yes, I could do
version,
that.
which gets into deeper stuff. And maybe there's a few things you always reserve that you're like, listen, I'm not gonna get too deep on your indexing setup or whatever, because that's where I make my money on
Yep.
the pro side of it. Whatever. So I think that would be the other, probably even more logical way, because then it's like, then even the people they're sending you become customers. Like, oh,
Right.
you got
Totally.
through the free stuff. Now you should get the rest for $150 or
Yeah,
whatever it's gonna be.
we'll make
Or
up a
10 $20 a
technology,
month or whatever it is.
intro to DynamoDB, which I'm
Right.
pretty confident is not open source. Intro to
No, it's not. Yeah.
DynamoDB, AWS pays me to do that.
Yeah.
I keep that free, although you do have to log in to watch it. So I get
Yes.
emails.
Yeah.
And then I do advanced Dynamo on my own that is
Yeah.
part of the paid only offering. Totally
Yeah.
buy that. And
And
I
I think
feel
you
way more comfortable with that than trying to
yeah.
tell them with a straight face, give me a ton of money and then I'm going to charge for it.
I mean, to be fair, this is the
Ah,
kind of thing that happens everywhere all the time. It's like, hey, you
I
come through this door, it
know.
costs this. You come through that door, it costs that. Like,
I
that's just how the
know.
world works. But I agree from us bootstrappery perspective, we don't like to do those kind of things. And
No,
so,
I
but
don't have the
I think that,
gumption. Yeah.
I just think you want the whole course ready though. To me, that then is the strategy. Like you need the
That is
advanced
probably
with the free so that
that
when
is
they do
probably
their
true
push, it's
when it's
like,
hot.
yes, when it's hot, it's like, hey, right here on every page, buy the advanced version or
Yep.
subscribe to get the advanced version or, whatever the model ends up being there. But
Yep.
I
I
think you
think you're
want that
right.
ready
I think you're
together.
right about that.
But
That is
yeah, I
not
think people will
something I
pay for
had
that stuff.
considered, and I think you're right about that.
I mean, I bought a DynamoDB course from the
Mhm.
guy who does the DynamoDB
Alex
courses,
Debris?
Alex Debris, because I was evaluating using it for something, and it's like the docs are freaking insane,
Oh, yeah.
and like there's not actually that many different options. And I came across his
Yep.
option, and I paid him $400 or
Yep.
whatever it was. I don't know what it was, something like that.
Mhm.
So
I think
that
his is just a book, isn't it?
I
I think
think it's
it's
just a
just a book.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I read his book, and his book made tons of sense, and it was great. And it
Yep.
was very useful, and I
He's
got my
awesome.
money's worth because I was able to evaluate the platform, which I couldn't even do with the
In
official
4
stuff.
hours instead of 3 weeks. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
So I think that's where the proprietary stuff to me has some opportunities for you, and just less competition. There's less resources out there. I think it might these
Yes.
companies are willing to push it, whereas like, yeah, MySQL, Oracle's not looking to push your stuff. You know what I mean? Or the
So
Postgres Foundation isn't looking to push your stuff. So it's a little trickier.
the only nuance I'll add is
Mm,
some of these proprietary ones are a little bit smaller and not quite as popular. And so
sure.
that to me is that's what I was talking about. Like if I do a whole course on this and then bring it to the market and there are like 8 people that
Yeah,
are like, "Oh, I love that
for
thing that
sure.
nobody's ever heard of."
Yeah,
I feel pretty stupid, but if
right.
they pay me to do that, I don't freaking
Right.
care.
If
And
you
so
compare
that's
it with
one
that, it's
thing where
great.
it's like you want to do I don't know if this is open source or not and I'm not talking to these people. You want to do a whole course on Pinecone DB. Who's
Right.
ever used it? I don't know.
Right.
Well, if you pay me to do that, I will absolutely do that.
Yeah.
That's kind of the difference between like
De-risks
a
you.
pine cone and a dynamo. Like Dynamo
Sure.
is closed source, and I would 100% make a paywalled version of that.
Right. I mean, even that, right? There's just some that cross over. Like DynamoDB makes sense because you just know it's so humongous and it's just so
Hmm.
ubiquitous that it's worth you maybe taking the risk to do. And for that, again, since you don't have a sponsor, it's a smaller course. Maybe it only touches
Right.
on certain aspects or whatever, right? And where you get sponsorship, you do the free plus the advanced. And so that's a bigger course. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's something there. I think that the proprietary has some opportunities, both for these deals, for actual money, for them promoting you,
Yep.
for them linking you in the docs, even and crazy stuff
I
like that,
know.
which you're never going to get from Postgres or MySQL, right? Like, who knows? Maybe you do an awesome Pinecone video and they're like, let's just put this in the docs
I know.
because it's amazing. So you never know. Like, increase the surface area. I feel like you need a plan for the next year. I feel like you need
Okay.
a schedule.
Okay.
Like,
Like a content schedule of deals and in-house. Is that what you're
yes,
saying?
yes. And it doesn't have to be like the specific deals. I just feel like you have enough backlog between stuff you want to do on your own and deals you're working
It's
that there's plenty to do, right? So I feel like
there's
you
too
need to be
much to
like,
do.
right. So you need to be like, I'm coming up with a schedule of how much content I'm going to make. And this is the year of the push where
Yeah.
I'm doing,
I think you're right.
I don't know the number of videos it is, 150 videos or
More.
whatever, 200 videos, right? Like, but it's like every week, this is my
I
grind. I'm
think you're
doing
right.
these videos and I'm holding myself to that, which I don't work this way. So
I know.
this is me giving you advice that I do not take myself, but I
I know.
feel like for what you and what you're doing, something like that might be valuable to like have this barometer of where you are and how far along you are and all that stuff.
So I think I am now in the fortunate and terribly unfortunate position where the only thing that can make this fail is if I just don't do the work.
Right. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
great. What a
Yeah.
great spot to be
It's
in.
all on you.
What a
It's
great
all
spot to be in.
upside. No
There is
dependencies.
there's nothing that can stop me except myself. And what a
Yeah.
horrible, horrible
That
spot
keeps you
to
up
be
at
in.
3 a.m.
Oh, that is what when I wake
Uh,
up at 3 a.m. and can't go back to sleep, that's why I put on Curb Your Enthusiasm in my headphones. Because I'm like, oh God, the whole world is resting upon my shoulders.
right.
Let's see what Larry David's up to. Because it's just so much. So yeah, I mean, maybe we can thread the needle. I think we
Yeah.
can. I think we can. I've got an editor, I've got a set, I've got the
Yeah.
brain. I just need to like do the thing.
Well, this is where I think it's like, it also maybe it creates bite-sized chunks. Do you know what I mean? So like, I got through this week. Oh, I got through next week. Oh, like, yeah, I was going to do 20 videos this week. I got them done. Oh, next week I'm going to do 20. Oh, I did those 20. Like, as opposed to like, oh, I have 300 video. Like 300 sounds like an
Yes.
impossible number. You're never going to do
Yeah.
it, right? Or 100 even. Even 100 sounds impossible.
It
But it's
does.
not impossible. It's possible. It just has to get done. Turning it into those small chunks so that you can build momentum, have accomplishments. And then even just abstracting it from the courses. To me, that's almost like the main thing, because it's like, oh, if you run out of this course, you finish this course, but you don't have the next paid one set up. You backfill with just your one you're working on. Like, you're just a machine who's building these courses, and not so much even about a course as a whole concept, because that feels overwhelming to me, right? It's like, oh, the course has 35 videos and that's a lot of videos and I'm only through 15. It's like, no, my job is just to do this X number of videos this week. And that's what I do every week.
And I'm changing, at least mentally, I think on the site as well, I'm changing them to series. It's not a course, it's a series. That's what Jeffrey does.
That's even better.
It's like, all right, I got a series on Redis. And it just feel like the weight,
I love that.
The bar feels so much lower.
So much better. With the subscriptions and series, it's great.
And I'm not doing big splashy launches where I got to come up with a new like a cinematic video every time. Like I just can't do that. One, I can't do that without Steve, and two, that's just too much pressure. Jeffrey doesn't do that. He just like sits quietly and works all day, and then goes and hangs out with his family or plays chess or whatever he said.
I think
and
you'll
it's
need
like,
a
that's
little
what
more
I gotta
than
do.
Jeffrey. I don't know if you've earned Jeffrey's release schedule yet, but I don't think you need to do the crazy video every time. I just think, hey, here's a new series. Rah, new series for a week or two, right? Okay, then on to the next one. But like, I love the series idea, because it's like, oh, I got 8 great videos here. Boom, series. And then you backfill when you have time with, now I added 3 more videos to that series. Oh, something changed. They added a new thing. Here's another video, right? And like, it's just an ever growing thing, as opposed to, I have to complete this to ship the entire thing, which is, obviously very
the unit of work needs to be much smaller.
Yes. Yeah. And it lets you cut things in too then. It's like, oh, something's hot right now. I'm just going to cut this one into the schedule.
Totally.
No problem. Doesn't matter. As opposed to like, oh, I'm on the death march of this 40 video course and I'm never going to get there.
It's the death march, man.
Right.
I got to stop being on the death march.
Yeah, for sure. So
I got to be able to lay down at night and just like think about things that are pleasant, instead of like, oh, you're actively dying right now. Yeah, I can't keep doing that.
I think related to that is but the other part of the schedule to me is like, maybe you only do videos 3 out of 4 weeks or something like that.
Oh, that's a
I don't know
fun idea.
what it is, but I feel like you're going to need a week to restore the creative juices.
That's a fun idea.
To do businessy stuff, whatever. You're going to need a week, at least a month, I feel like, to like.
Do you like a week a month, or do you like 3 or 4 days a week? So I do videos Monday through Wednesday or Monday through Thursday.
Stuff always happens during the week, and then
stuff
you don't
happen.
You're not going to get 5 days a week no matter what. So I think I might like still a planned week of like, that's when I build my series launches. That's when I do other businessy stuff. Not that you're like taking off, but just like, that's where I push the other stuff that maybe is less creative, or is just stuff I have to get through that has to get done. Just to break up the courses. I don't know, something where you're just breaking up the courses, because I do feel like, I don't know, maybe it's fine. I don't know, but I just don't know if you're going to be able to like sustain a year of every single week for a year. I make 20 videos or whatever. I feel like you might need a breather. So if you just have a breather baked in, like if you think it through and like, what is my actual schedule that's realistic for me to produce on, and blah, blah, blah. And as you get into it, maybe you go faster to the schedule. I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah, something there.
I think we're getting there.
You're getting there. I feel like it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen.
I think it's going to happen. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic.
I like that you have these deals set up too. So we feel like we have a solid year. It sounds like, I'm going to guesstimate
I think so.
year-ish of time.
Yeah.
That at the least. And obviously, you get more of these deals, start to build up a
Yeah.
subscription base that eats away at the need for deals. And then eventually you have that crossover, which would be a glorious day on the podcast when you're like,
Boy.
not doing those deals anymore, or I'm charging a ridiculous amount of money for them
Right.
because now we have enough subscription revenue that I'm only doing it for when I really think it's valuable for the
And
audience and myself or whatever.
I've talked before about like one's internal perception lags reality, and this struck me again because I got off a database school podcast interview with somebody, and they later sent me an email that was like a screenshot of the database school landing page where I said, Postgres, MySQL, SQLite, Redis, and more. Sent me a screenshot of that and said, "Hey, if you want to do one on our database, we would pay for it." And that to me is like, whoa,
That's
did that just
crazy.
happen? And that's one of those things where it's like my internal perception of who I am and how I'm perceived in this like world, I
Yeah.
don't think is congruent with how other people are viewing me as like a
Yes.
voice or a content creator or something. But that was like a huge vote of confidence for the CEO to be like, "Hey, you want to do one for us? We'll pay." It's like,
That's great.
oh, maybe I should be asking more people, do you want
You
to pay for
definitely should be
one?
doing
Turns
that.
out,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Although you
do
need more
think
time then too, but
I know.
yes.
I do think we're on to something.
Yeah.
It's just
I mean,
now it's a matter of execution. The only risk left is execution risk, which is good.
yeah, and I think you're like the product is in a space there's not many other products as you were saying, but I also think you are just a unique element to all this, not just you being unique as a person and all that stuff, which is great, but just like how many database content creators are there out there? Like there's not that many who are
It's
like
not that many.
individuals, right? Like yes, there's
No.
corporations doing corporate training and things like that. And there's
Hmm.
Udemy or whatever those things are called, big platforms that have
Yeah.
generic courses. But there's not that many. I want to go have I mean, just as a CEO, like it's even for me, I'll just use myself as an example. There's not that many like help desk software influencers out there. And I wish there were because I wish I could just go to them and be like, hey, here's some money.
Yeah.
Talk about HelpSpot all the time, right? But
Yeah. Totally.
there's a handful, but they have kind of a different tack. It's not even really a great fit for us. And so there's just not that many.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, if I'm a database platform CEO, I could totally imagine being like, oh, here's this guy. He's doing great interviews. He's making interesting content. I don't know anybody else like this.
Yeah.
Sure, why wouldn't I give this guy a few bucks out of the marketing budget to do something cool and see what happens? It's like I want to spend more money like that and I literally can't because there's not
Right.
even anybody to spend it with.
Hmm.
So now you're giving them a place to spend it. So yeah, I think it all makes sense.
Now I just have to put my head down
You
and
have to do it. You
record
can't
a
build
million
another
videos.
set.
Can't build
Don't
any more
come in next
sets.
week about how you got a third set in the
No.
bathroom. You got a great idea
No.
for a bathroom set and all this.
No, it's not my kind of comedy. That's a
Yeah.
little lowbrow. That's a little lowbrow for me to do a bathroom set. I'm a little more sophisticated.
Well, I wasn't necessarily thinking it's even involving the toilet. It's more just like you got some, you're writing on the shower
The
wall
shower
or
glass.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the mirror. You got some stuff going on in the
That's
mirror.
interesting. Maybe I should try
Yeah.
that.
See?
No, no,
No,
no,
don't
no,
do it.
no, no. Okay.
Don't do it.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling good. It is, I don't want to sugarcoat it for the dear listener. It is incredibly stressful. Just getting to
Yeah.
the point where you feel like things can start working. I can only speak for myself. It has been incredibly stressful.
Yeah, it is.
And I do think we're getting close to the peak of the stress, and I think
Yeah.
we may be on the other side. We'll see, but I don't want to. I like to keep a positive attitude, but I don't want to lie to people. It sucks, but we're
Yeah.
getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, well, especially going the subscription route, it's just like it's going to take time. So
Yes,
you're not going to get. That's a thing to mentally prepare for. Is you are not going to get the feedback you've gotten with these other courses that are like,
totally.
oh, big pile of money showed up
Nope.
and it was worth it, all that work and great,
Nope.
I'm restored. Like probably isn't going to be quite like that, right? And it's
Nope.
going to be now we just got to build and build and build.
Mhm.
We need the frequency so that the
We
people
need the
subscribed
deals.
feel like they should stay subscribed
I
because
know.
Aaron's always releasing new interesting stuff. And even if I don't need Dynamo, I might need it in the future. So I want to
Yep.
keep access to this and whatever. So making sure you're delivering that value continuously and stuff like that. So yeah, that's but we'll see.
Hey,
Yep.
benefits of a weekly podcast. You're all here for the
Yeah.
journey.
That's
You get
right.
to hear the ups and, well, the downs as well. I know Fideloper's happy about the downs because
He loves the
that gives
downs.
him the energy. Yeah.
One other thing I
So
just thought with the schedule before we go off, it's like, I wonder if there could even be a world where it's almost the opposite of what I said. It's like you find that like you crunch time 2 days. It's like 2 out of 14 days is like crazy video crunch time. And
yeah,
you just
goblin
record for
mode. Yeah.
10 hours a day, 2 days every 2 weeks or whatever. And the
Yeah.
rest of the time is your prep and writing the scripts and all the other stuff.
I'm
But
going
it's
out to
like
lunch. I'm
going
meeting
out to lunch,
people.
having a couple
Yeah.
martinis, and
Yep.
then but it's just like maybe that ends up being it. It's like, oh, I could produce 30 videos in 2 days, and I like buckle down and I crush them, and then come
hmm
up for air, and then I buckle down, and I crush them, and that kind of thing. So I don't know. You're
There's
gonna have to figure it
something
out,
nice
but
about the compressed timeline for sure.
yeah,
And the like, it's
you're in the
wartime. Let's
space.
freaking go. And then it's
Yeah,
over. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna play
yeah.
Factorio for a minute. I would love to play a video game. I would love that. It's been years.
Yeah, I've been
So
off
we'll
the
see.
video games. I'd like to do a video game too at some
Oh
point here.
god,
I
can you
don't know.
imagine?
Yeah,
We got
that
horses to pay for. We
doesn't
don't
pay
have
the
time for
horse
that.
bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you had here?
Oh, that's all. Let me make sure
We're
that that
good.
is actually all. I want to talk about the ramp campaign, but it's way too long, so we'll do that later.
Okay. I don't even know what that is. So that sounds good.
Kevin from The Office did a big old campaign for a B2B SaaS tool, and it was amazing.
Oh,
But we'll talk about that
okay.
later.
All right.
So yeah, we're
Sounds
done.
good.
We got it. We're good.
All right. Sounds good. Everybody, thank you. Sponsors, thank you. Check us out at mostlytechnical.com to subscribe. We're on the YouTube, all the things. It's all linked up there at mostlytechnical.com. Sponsor the show. It's almost the end of October. Get your sponsorships in for next month. We got a few already, but we could use some more. Listen to us. We need more. And
Listen,
also get in front of this amazing audience that is ever growing amazingly. And yeah, we will see you all next week. Talk to you later.
see ya.